Good morning. How do I say? Good morning, boys and girls, and ladies and gentlemen. Uh, yeah, hi, Anita. Good morning. And so
Good
we are
morning.
into class three of our journey, a journey of 6 classes in which hopefully you would be more knowledgeable on the subject of marketing to be able to make uh, intelligent decisions as you go ahead in your career. Marketing is very innovative, and just as late as yesterday evening was this thing that just popped up. So, request all of you to switch off your videos and take a moment out to do that. So just yesterday evening, this thing popped up on one of those social media groups for which I subscribe to, and it came up. So I thought, let me begin our conversation with that thought. And here is what the problem that I pose to you. What would you do if your marketing and sales outlet was outside of the town and it took time for the customer to reach you? If you go to US, or if you go to one of those places, sometimes especially the Walmarts are quite so far away from the town, and it takes you a while to drive. And so is it, let's say Decathlon for that matter. Apart from the fact that they now have one or two deep within the city, otherwise Decathlon was known for having their outlets quite far away. So the thing or the question to you is, you decide to set up your marketing outlet, your mall, or your whatever you want to call it, your place of sales outside of the town, because the land is cheaper there. So it's easier for you to buy acres and acres of land at marginal cost, and you set it up there. But the challenge for you is it takes the customer time to reach to you, right? If you look at, I can't think of some examples, but there are quite a few of them which are there very, very far away. And so it takes time for the customer to reach you. So why would the customer take the pain of coming all the way to your outlet when possibly he has alternates nearby? Right? Why would I drive a kilometer to buy something which otherwise would be available in less than a furlong away from my house? It's because of the concept called time is money. Why would I want to drive for 1 hour? I would rather sit and do something else. So my question to you is, of course, I know the answers, and I honestly did not know the answer till that yesterday evening. But let's see how smart are all of you, and what do you think it would be your answer, and how do you would want to handle a situation like this? Any thoughts? Just open up your mic and make it
Yes,
noisy, and just keep talking. Yes.
Professor Gautam here.
Yeah.
So if a sales outlet is far away from the city, I hope the person who started the outlet would be wanted to create an importance of that particular product in the market. Because when a family goes out, if we want to take an example of Decathlon itself, there are few families which plan a day out for Decathlon.
Right. So what you're saying is you have something unique that you're offering, and hence people are willing to drive quite
Yes.
a while.
Yes.
Good,
So when a
good.
person plans an outlet for far away, might be other than the land is cheap, this would be one of the motive for him to do it.
Good. Anybody else? Anybody else wants to give it a thought?
So
Professor
Decathlon.
Vimal.
Yeah, go ahead. Vimal and next somebody. Yes.
Yeah, sir, I also think that it also depends on the strategy what the marketer has launched. Probably if he is giving a deep discount and he is sure that the discount will attract the people, even if I'm far away, the people will be pulled. That can be one of the strategy. And if I have seen myself when I travel abroad, I see a lot of people who have deep discount. They're very far away because they do this lump sum sales or whatever, and they're able to manage. And the people are attracted and go and they buy this. And as I think last class you gave an example because you used to drive down long for a T-shirt of Arrow and used to get it. I think that can same be here. Price effectiveness of the price I'm offering.
Good, good. Very, very interesting. Very nice. Anybody else? I want you
Sir,
to, I'll tell you, the catch here for somebody talking next
sir,
is,
it's Sagar, sir. I'll just
yeah,
tell you.
Sagar, pay attention to what I'm trying to tell you, is that the point, good, all of you, excellent, done, Vimal and Gautam, well done. My question is, look at it from the concept of Sudhir Patil. Just mute yourself. Okay, look at it from the idea of time is money. Look at it from the idea of time is money. Yeah, go ahead, Sagar.
Sir, a Decathlon has some different thinking. See, he has his cycling and every equipment where people go there, spend time on what product they want, and he has a big, huge area where they can utilize and they'll think to buy it. They have the trial basis also, so people get attracted towards
Yeah,
the thing.
but yeah. So, Bob, what's the okay? Fair enough. Yeah, and these big places, of course, cannot be in the heart of the city, and hence they are possibly outside of the
Sir,
city.
big place, that means more products, more choices for the
Okay,
customers.
okay. Anybody else?
I think we can do two things.
Okay.
For the promotion of this entire outlet, what can be done is you probably have a van which has the sample products of your, of your particular
Okay,
market.
okay, but I want you to pay attention. Good idea, because that's what the whole world is going. Is that you have a nice one, I must say, is that you actually have an offline online model. So now what you are saying is you have a in city out of city model. In city, you give it some thoughts, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
good. But then I want you to focus on something called innovative. Deba, I wanted to say something. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, if I'm traveling down so far, I'm definitely to buy something. So, someone placing an outlet so far away from the city,
Okay.
I travel there, I'm spending some time, I'm sure to buy something. So,
You're spending time. So don't you spending time. So the point is, I want you to, whoever is answering next.
Yeah, this is Surbi Soin. Actually, I'm not sure about sale, but some resorts are there is out of place. Then people are driving for many kilometers to enjoy that sea day outing. Their outlets are there buying resorts and Wanderla like that.
Yeah, but that's a different concept. That's a different concept. That's like you're purposefully going far, right? The whole idea is, chalo, we'll go for it, right? That's not the idea here. The idea is, I want to buy a furniture, or I want to buy a box of soap, or I want to buy some clothing. Why would I go all the way far? Just don't raise your hands. Just make it noisy.
Yeah, Professor, my thought of view.
Priyanka, Shankarnag, in that
Okay,
order.
sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Since
I
you
will start.
mentioned, right? Okay.
Priyanka, go ahead.
Okay. So since you mentioned time is money, okay, if I'm traveling from Bengaluru to some other outlet, which is 15 kilometers out, I would think about my fuel. Correct?
Okay.
So whatever I purchase, like whatever I purchase in terms of maybe a 5K bill, I would give a discount on your 1,000.
You're very close to the idea that these guys are coming up with. Good job done, Priyanka. Do one thing. You're telling me that the outlet is. Are you from Bangalore?
Yes.
Okay. So, and you're telling me the outlet is on Kanakpura Road, or let's say Kanakpura for that example, and I stay in Jayanagar. which is not so very far from Kannada, and you stay in Yelahanka. So now take that example further, because you're getting very close to it. I don't want to play too much of hide and seek. And the next 1 minute, I'll go to the next slide, but just give it a thought and let's see if you can modify your answer slightly. But you're getting to a thought that, I'll tell the next word. You're getting to a thought that IKEA or IKEA Dubai is thinking. Okay. Yeah. Next.
So it's a discount, and also that is a unique ways your wholesale people also getting more discount. They
More purchase.
Professor, here what we
People
can see
will buy more than what they require.
Shankar now. Yeah.
Sir, what I thought, my thought view was, the outlet, why it's outskirt is they mainly focus on sports shops.
No, I was not saying. Now I'm going to modify the question. I'm going to make it say this is IKEA or IKEA, however you want to pronounce it. And IKEA in Dubai, I'm getting very specific. IKEA in Dubai has their outlet outside of Dubai. You need to drive a long distance to go to that outlet. Now tell me, time is money. Fuel is cheap. Fuel in Dubai, I mean, come on, man. Water is more expensive than fuel. So Priyanka, start thinking a little differently.
Can I?
Yeah.
Professor?
Yeah, go ahead.
So can I, Professor?
Yeah.
I read this article about IKEA in Dubai.
Perfect.
So,
complete it for me.
Yes. So what are they planning is they are offering the amount for particular time what they are traveling.
Okay, Varun, use this and complete my presentation.
Okay, so let's say, for example, your home is in Dubai, or let's say your home is in Bangalore, and the IKEA outlet.
Stick to Dubai. Your home is in downtown Dubai, and IKEA is in outskirts of Dubai. Complete the whole thing. Since you know it, I want you to. Okay, I'm going to judge you on the following factors. You obviously know what I'm going to tell. So I know that you know not the answer, but you know what the concept is. So now use nice professional language and make a good presentation of this, because you already know what is coming up. So go ahead, Varun. Start.
Okay. As you told, let's say your home is in inside the city of Dubai, and the IKEA outlet is outside the city of Dubai. Okay. So let's say you travel to that outlet for an hour. You take your time, you travel by your car or something, you take your time consumed was 1 hour. So what IKEA is doing, they calculate, they take your Google Maps or whatever maps you're doing, you're using. They calculate that 1 hour into some amount, and they make you purchase with that amount, with that time what you have traveled to the outlet.
Perfect. Very good job. Yeah, a good job done. Just because I read the sentences, I can do a better reading of it. Otherwise, I would say, well done, Varun. So the idea that, anybody else wants to talk? Yeah, you want to continue, Varun?
Yes, sir. Rutvik here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea is that, why these outlets are far from the city and also very cheap. They make sure that, this outlet has every, consumer needs, one thing, where, they can spend a time with the family. They, travel to these outlets and, purchase in bulk, purchase with bulk in, with the lesser money and with the family. That's also one of a concept that, why these outlets are very big, and, and they also provide time to us in showing, certain.
Sure. Rutvik, good one. But the idea what IKEA Dubai did was to tell you that we will reward you for the time that you've taken to reach out to us. So like Varun described, they said, you come to our outlet in outskirts Dubai and show us your Google map and let us know how far had you to travel from home to our outlet, and say it took you 1 hour to travel. They then go ahead and become even more scientific in the thought process, that they calculate the average income of a family. So assuming that that's a husband and wife, both are working. So they say the average income of a family is, let's say, 10,000 dirhams or something like that. And then they calculate the time money value, meaning that it's obviously time, right? And I will not probably in our class, but when you go down to term 3, there is something called the what do you call, the absolute advantage, or the advantage why somebody does a better job. Somebody does a job better, and you should give him the reason to do it. But anyway, the point was, so they do is, okay, your family, you have 2 working people, both of you have driven about an hour to come to our place. So that 1 hour equals 100 dirhams. Excellent, because you drove from 10 kilometers or 100 kilometers. So you buy any product, and the products in Dubai or in IKEA, they have 2 things. They have this box of chocolates cost you 100 dirhams, or it costs you 45 minutes. So that's it. So what they have done is, they said that we value your time, and you just show us your map. I know some of you are raising your hands. It's too difficult for me to look at all that. So just go ahead and talk. Okay. So that's after I complete that. So what Google or what IKEA did was something very innovative. It generated a lot of interest. It felt that people, you were compensated for driving all the way to this place, and you got something in reward. And of course, if your house was very close to IKEA, Dubai, it still doesn't matter. You drove for about 10 minutes, you got a sandwich free or something like that. So that was what these guys did. The marketing campaign was a super hit, and they got, I guess the statement means that they gave away $14 million worth of marketing, but that's a huge brand value generation that they were able to do. So where did I get this from? I got it from a Twitter handle called FinShots, and best time for you to either follow me and watch what happens to FinShots, or follow FinShots. So that's it. Anybody else who has something to say? Let me look at it.
Sir Vimal, I have a question here. Sir,
yeah, Vimal, Sanjeev, in that order, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you said, I have just read it for the first time, but I think it's a good success you're saying. But I also know a lot of malls in Hyderabad, or Delhi, or even Mumbai, where they say, boss, if you come to my mall, I will reimburse your parking. Or if you buy a purchase of X. But I don't think these are so popular for them to attract. So why do you think IKEA did what? IKEA is also doing the same concept. They're also reimbursing the travel. But why they did better and why
what they're not reimbursing the I mean, these are all these are all marketing. If you dissect it beyond a point, it kind of doesn't really drive the point, because it is just about generating interest. It's all about generating interest. It's all about doing something very different and people getting excited about it. Don't you think it's a great idea if somebody, you drive all the way and say, you visit us, we'll the coffee is on me, or something like that? Or how many of us have gone to the fact that The coffees on the house is more than interesting a reason for us to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's a very, that's agreed with you. So it's a beautiful idea.
Correct.
Where I was getting a doubt, why we at India are not able to why a lifestyle cannot do it when they're giving a parking free. Are they not doing effective marketing about it? Are they not?
Parking free was once a great concept, right? Parking free was once a great concept. Or I remember Shopper Stop or somebody else, they said that you give us your parking ticket and then we'll pay you that $10 or something like that. These are all
Yeah, you're right,
beyond a time they lose out. Then you need to do something different. You need to create interest. So so now for me, it really doesn't matter if I'm 15 kilometers away or 10 kilometers. I get rewarded for that extra 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
That is the point.
Yeah, I think IK is a great idea.
Great. Yeah.
Hi,
So that's
Sanjeev.
Yes, Sanjeev, go ahead.
So I had an example to share. So there was an app that got circulated probably 2 years back, which used to provide points to people for walking. And the idea was you score X number of points and you can go to their store and buy whatever you would like to buy, a phone or a smartwatch or whatever it would be. Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sanjeev. Yes.
So I think they also had a similar, to your point, they had a similar concept that, encourage people or get people to this place because they have a purpose. It could either be reimbursement for time, or here it is get healthy and then use the services from their platform. I mean, that was a thought.
Yeah. So continue. Can one of you mute in the background? Yeah. Okay. But then what happens to these ideas? What happens to these ideas? Why is it that we don't hear that any longer? Especially the Sanjeev's idea about walk to my store and instead of driving, and I'll reward you with a chocolate. Why do those ideas fail?
They're not sustainable. I mean, not to me.
Why?
The reach is not there. If you walk, the geography covered is very low.
So beyond a point, the novelty value fades away. There's no longer a novelty. I mean, do you think IKEA Dubai would see the whole of Dubai driving down with their Google Maps on and going there? Very unlikely. They do a campaign, it generates a lot of interest. I get excited, I make a PPT out of it. We spend 45 minutes talking about it, and then it's forgotten. But is it all what it is all about? A marketing campaign has life. We will probably in our when do we talk about it? In either in today's class or in class number 5 or something. We'll talk about, what is product life cycle, right? Or maybe I haven't discussed product life cycle. Is that products too have life? They die. Maybe no longer is Maruti 800 the charm of our thing. One of the products which seems to have beaten all expectations of an early death and still survived was a soap called Liril. Liril was there when I was a teenager, and it probably was there till about 5-6 years back. It lived and lived and lived and lived, but they are very off examples. Even marketing campaigns, I don't know if there were marketing campaigns about, I can't remember the exact sequence of things, but Times of India even had some kind of a electronic device stuck to its front page for some kind of a marketing activity. So these are all gimmicks. Again, this is a gimmick. This makes an interesting conversation. The point that I may want to say about these two things is that you're always innovative. And marketing is all about being innovative. Marketing is all about saying that we're doing it very differently. I just like what Sanjeev said, you do 100 push-ups and you get a free platform ticket and things like that. There used to be some ads like that. So that's it. Yeah, Swain, you raising your hand. Do you have anything to say, or is that an old hand raised? Okay, Good. So this done, we'll move on to the subject that we have in today's class. Somebody talking? Okay, close this. Then back to meeting. Share screen, share screen. Right. So this morning or yesterday evening, I asked you to look at 4 advertisements and then ask you to comment about it as a group. I'm posting this on the chat, and I want you all to give it a shot as a group. Is that fine? Can I get some audio confirmation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir.
So group up. No, don't ask me any questions. There are no wrong answers. Remember, there are no wrong answers. This is just, you say, okay, Bharat Matrimony, hey, I actually like the way Dhoni spoke, is good enough as an answer. Or Asian Paints, if you've seen that ad, it says that, hey, the boy is pretty cute looking or something, good enough. I don't want scientific answers or answers of in-depth, and you give them even better. So just go ahead, take some. How much time would you need? I guess most of you have seen the ads since yesterday, or those who haven't
Yes,
seen
sir.
it now. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If you have not seen it, it's also fair. On 9:58, so that's 10 o'clock. Plus 10, can I make it 10:10 for you guys to upload your answers? Okay, so you uploaded by 10:10.
It's individual, right, Professor?
No, group. You have your system in place for group. Those of you who don't have your system in place, then go ahead and attempt it on your own. But I would prefer you guys discussing it, but I won't make it mandatory as such. So you still want to do it on your own, and is also fine. Though it may say group number and all that, just ignore that. So your time starts now, I guess. I'll pause the recording. Yeah. So the subject is STP, and we're talking about what is STP standing for: segmentation, targeting, or positioning. So the firms believe that if you focus on a specific section of a huge market, or the word now being segment, then it is possible for you to do 2 things: be more effective in the message that you're conveying. Second is that obviously the one singular motive of every company, which is to increase sales and greater profits. So what do you do then? Instead of having a very diluted message, it is possible for you to have a concentrated message and go focus on it. So what is segmentation? Segmentation is birds of the same feather flock together. You know that, right? I mean, birds of the same feather flock together. That means to say that people with similar interests, people with similar needs, always have a similar objective. And hence, if you are looking at somebody who is one homogeneous group of people with similar thoughts, it is possible for you to drive a better message. So a lot of people have common needs of a same product. While you may want to design your marketing message towards them. Example of that would be, let's say, of course, there are lots and lots of washing powder or clothes washing powder, soaps and all that. So how do you differentiate yourself? So you say that my soaps are meant for top loading machines. Now, whether there is a huge technological difference in the entire process or not is something for us to talk about it on a later date. But then somebody who is walking into the shop, into the outlet, you are telling him, don't buy soap per se, but buy soap which are for your specific need, because you have a top loading washing machine, and hence this powder addresses your requirement. So would you do that? Why would you do that? These are the points that we will discuss as we go forward. So what this segment talks about, or the very word segment itself means that this section talks about, is that how do we get to a very specific message to a very specific set of people, and what is the process of identifying that set of people. Okay, so these are consumers who have similar consumption behavior, like the way I said. So you are now telling that I am looking at all of you who have top loading washing machines, buy my product, because my product is specifically designed for you. So that gives you some kind of a differentiation, a flavor, or a color that presents your product favorably for that segment. It could also mean something else, is that if you have a big family, buy a larger packet, because we offer you greater discount. So instead of buying a half a kilo packet of powder, buy a 5 kilo packet of powder, we give you a better price or something like that. So it needn't always be a feature, it needn't always be a product differentiation. It could also be a price differentiation as well. So this is what we talk as an introduction to the subject. Let's get deeper into the subject. Why are we doing this word called segmentation? Is because we want to link ourselves to the buyer's needs. And we want to design our marketing program around that. So if you look at something as simple as Amazon purchase, there are lots of filters there, a lot of filters when you're trying to buy anything. The filter says that is your product under 10,000 rupees. So that's one kind of a segmentation that you're looking at. Are you looking at prime delivery? Meaning to say that you're willing to possibly compromise on price, maybe on quality, but you want it right away in the next 24 hours. So that's another segmentation that you're talking about. So all kinds of segmentations keep coming in so that you get closer to the buyer's need all the time. And in the end of this process, what are you trying to do? You're trying to improve sales, you're trying to improve profitability, and at the end of the day, give a customer a feeling of something which was designed specifically for him. So what does segmentation do? As it says here, identify the market needs, link the whole market to the action that you plan to do. And this action can be in form of either the product differentiation or the price differentiation or the positioning differentiation, whatever it is. Just like an example would be, there are so many mosquito repellents in the market, but for some strange reason, I'm very allergic to it. I can't stand the smell of it. So there comes one segmentation saying that, oh, don't feel bad about it. Our mosquito repellents or the good nights or whatever you want to call it, they also have a vanilla or a lavender perfume built into it. So you no longer have that nauseating effect. So should they design it only for me? Or they do it because they believe that there is a sizable number of people who have a sizable number of people who have similar problems, and hence we design it according to it. One example that I thought, I also made it a point to state it here, saying that this particular presentation is totally different from what I have been doing so far in all my previous classes. It's because I introduced you to the subject, but I thought I should give it a different flavor. So this is hot out of the oven. This is the last finishing touches was given as late as 11 o'clock yesterday night. So I'm inspired by IIT, IIM, HPS, and other presentations, and I pulled out the best from it for you. So I need to acknowledge the sources. So the point that I found very interesting, and this was from IIT Roorkee presentation on the same subject, was the idea of as simple as bed pillows. So what are they saying? Pillows are pillows. Come on, where does it mean? Namak to namak hota hai, or pani to pani hota hai. But why is it that that you for some strange reason you would say you Bisleri nahi chahiye, Kinley chahiye, or if you are man born with a silver spoon, you may want to have Evian water. So why is all that coming up? It's because there is this idea saying that some people don't want to be just the ordinary. They want something different because our needs are different. You can't just generalize pillows. So here it goes. So they said, the bed pillow says, are you a slight sleeper or a back sleeper or a stomach sleeper? We just don't sell you pillows just like that. We send our marketing team to your house. We inspect how you sleep. We have a man watching you 12 hours, and then we make a conclusion. I'm exaggerating, of course, adding humor to this. And then we tell you that we have products perfectly designed for you. And do you mean to say that the moment you switch from back sleeper to a side sleeper, you change your pillows? No, these are just saying that I seem to understand your problem. And hence, I've designed something ideally to address your problem. So there you have this product saying that firm pillows, medium firm or soft pillows. This is one way that even something as simple as pillows can differentiate themselves and address different markets as such. You would have seen all the time such things happening. Why do we segment it? And what are the challenges of segmentations? Are you guys following me? Do you have anything to ask at this moment? Are you guys following? All good?
Yes, sir, we are good.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, so why segment at all? Why segment at all? For example, let's pick up some name, Ayushi. But unless and until the Mr. Amazon, or unless and until Mr. Shopper Stop makes Ayushi Gupta feel different about it, she will feel like another ordinary person, right? So she walks into the thing, and then somebody says, oh, no, don't buy shades of gray colors of dress. Everybody buys. For you, shades of yellow may look good. Some conversation, some topic, something which says that I understand you and I look at you differently, makes the buyer feel good. Because earlier the concept was, and you know how we began our class, was saying product was the most important thing because there were more people running behind products. When there is demand for the product, why would you want to differentiate? You will buy whatever I give you. You will buy however the car is, or you will buy however the chappal is. If there were slippers were, if there were only Bata there. Or if today you will tolerate whatever telephone lines exist if there is no, there's only one BSNL. But the moment you have competition built in, you're willing to move away. So one size fits all as a marketing philosophy is dead. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, so one size fits all philosophy doesn't work. We each and every consumer thinks he's different. I need to be, and it's very true, right? I need to be treated differently. Don't tell me that Mr. X bought this product and hence buy this product. No way. Mr. X may have different needs. My needs are different. So every manufacturer, every person who's got a product to market has to look at it from the individual points of view. Something as simple as is it for a high income family or is it for a low income family? Something as simple as that. Just, I don't want to buy the same, I don't want to sound racist. I'm just giving you an example. I repeat that 10 times. I don't want to buy the same brand of soap that my security is buying. Yeah, I want to be sound. I want to look different. I don't want to have the same. Unfortunately, he has better phones than I have, but that's beside the point. But the point is, I want to be differentiated. So it's because maybe I have higher income and hence I have more money to spend. So give me something which suits my need. And when we go further into our concept of pricing, you will notice that why you price a product only because I want to fulfill your ego and your ambition. And the fact that you earn more. There may not be a product difference, but I just price it differently for you to feel good. Similarly, you need to have also address the low income families. I've been busy over the last couple of days trying to buy suitcases for private reasons. So we walk into Samsonite, and then the Samsonite boxes cost 20,000, 22,000 rupees or things like that. And then we tell them, and I tell this guy at the Samsonite showroom saying that, hey, you know what? American Tourister is so cheap. He says, sir, American Tourister is also our own brand. And I didn't know it till yesterday or day before. It's our own brand. This brand is obviously meant for somebody who is more money conscious, who's trying to value the money that he's spending on. So you have a Samsonite, and the same Samsonite company comes up with another brand called American Tourister, which has probably got less paint on it or not having the best of the quality. But there you see is the differentiation happening. So you have one segment of people who want to go behind Samsonite. There is another segment of people who want to go after American Tourister, whatever the reason could be. I want to buy a travel luggage because of my one immediate travel, but I may want to buy a travel luggage for the next 10 years. I want to use it. So it depends on what my use are. So segmentation is trying to give a customer a feeling that his needs are different, and we understand his needs, and his needs could be multiple. We can get into it later. So segmentation could be one product and multiple market segments. That means to say, we are reading through this part of the section, one product and multiple market segments, meaning newspapers. You just have one newspaper, all of us are reading for different reasons. When I was trying to grow up, the section that I always started reading was the, you start from the back always, if you because you want to see the sports section first. Whereas my dad would probably want to read the first page of it. It's the same newspaper, but you have multiple market segments. Or who cares about Times of India? We're only interested in Bangalore Times. We want to see what's the gossip going around. So same product, multiple market segments. That's how it is. So you have newspapers, books. And in this kind of market segmentation, the effort to segment it is not very expensive. It's less expensive. You come out with one newspaper, and you have different people having different interests getting into it. But segmentation could also be multiple products and multiple market segments. That means to say that you are now not just producing one product, but you're producing tens of products for tens of markets. That means to say you have SUVs, you have hatchbacks, you have pickup trucks, you have Maruti Alto. For that person who says kitna deti hai, he cares a damn about anything else, but he's just worried about what is the mileage, especially now, I guess we are worried about it. Or you look at the car market, there are 10 and tens of models, and within each model, there are 10 different variants. It says you have the fully loaded with automatic. I don't want to get into sales marketing pitch for the cars. You guys know it better. So what do? You create multiple products for multiple markets. Otherwise, nobody would buy it. Why would people want to buy it from you just if you had one car to buy? But there was one car to buy, remember? There was only one Premier Padmini, or there was only one Ambassador, because there was no competition. So once competition picks in, you really have to segment your market. But multiple product segmentation is expensive. It takes time. And some of the segmentation could bounce on you. Like Tata came up with the Tata Nano with a market segment saying, I will upgrade the lives of you miserable scooter drivers, or you miserable families who have scooters. I will give you a car. But then the segment did not buy into it. The segment said, don't feel sorry for me. I will either buy a second-hand car or I live with my scooter, but don't feel sorry for me. So sometimes you come up with a segment, it doesn't work. It just fails right on the thing. There are so many cars and models which have failed. So you have one product, multiple markets, multiple products and multiple segments. And then you have built to order, mass customization. Each and every one of it is done for you. That's what Dell tried doing it. Dell tried doing it for their computers. So Dell said, just visit our website or sit and talk to somebody else. We'll design it exactly the way you want it. So, but that's more expensive. That's more challenging. But that's probably getting into a more stronger relationship. Or most importantly, it could be not a B2B market or not a B2C market. It could be for a B2B market or a B2B market. Every product could be customized for what the user is wanting to look at. So the point that we are trying to do is, why do we segment it? The challenges of segmentation, and most importantly, it's easy to have hundreds of segments. You can say for women, for men, for teenagers, cars, for each and every one of them. But is it really worth that effect? Do you really have to draw a line between satisfying an individual customer and then managing your capabilities? You may want to do scooters for teenagers, scooters for mothers, scooters for grannies, but do you really want to do it? Is it really worth that effort? That is what the next question comes up when it comes to this one. Is segmentation really worth it? Many a time, there's really no market for that segmentation. Or is it possible to further segment it? It may not be there. There is no need for you to segment it. Many a time, do you think it will sell well if I were to create a new brand and say, I see that of late, because of the pandemic and lockdown, there has been a great demand for laptops. Let's say I came up with a laptop which said for working women, laptops for working women. Our laptops are specifically designed for working women. They have softer, nicer keyboards, which don't leave a residual on your fingerprints, on your fingers. Do you think there really is a market for that? They're really not worth it. So why would you want to get into a segmentation which is not there? And remember, every segmentation has to be addressed with a different marketing plan. If you do not, if one is to segment it, and once you have segmented, yeah, Sanjeev, you want to raise your hand?
Sir, I was thinking about marketing internally within an organization. You spoke about B2B, B2C. I was thinking, let's say you're building a product within an organization for internal stakeholders. Is segmentation plays a role there as well? I believe it does. And if it does it have any operational implications? Does it creating those segments basis the users you're targeting to use a particular product? Will it help you operationally achieve it better or focus on the goals of that product?
Yeah, you mean segmenting or marketing or selling within the organization?
Correct. Let's say I'm building a tool that sorts of helps people achieve their task better, but this tool has multiple functions within it. It can focus on, let's say, a particular team that just speaks to customers. It can focus on a team that does their daily activity. What different?
Right. I get your point. Our focus right now, and I'll get to you exactly to answer your question. Our focus right now is to create a perception or a market segment which is going to be worth the effort. Meaning that there is a sizable section of people who want this product. The example that further goes on to say is the concept of Horlicks, which was actually the example which was also quoted by one of those speakers, is that Horlicks has now come up with that Horlicks for mothers, Horlicks with calcium, Horlicks with whatever. There are for sportsmen, Horlicks for girls, Horlicks for young teenagers. So they have created some 10 segments. Why do they create these 10 segments? Do you think, I really don't know if there is going to be any product differentiation or if the quantity or the various ingredients in those are really there or not, or it could be a minor tweaking of it. But why do you do it? You do it because you don't really want anybody else walking into the market, because you want to be different from your competition. But what you're talking about is possibly fine-tuning your product to meet an internal requirement. I don't think you're marketing it as much as you're fine-tuning the product. Is that correct?
Right. I mean, I'm actually building a new product that supports multiple segments, and it caters. We are consolidating. You're right. We are fine-tuning. We are
yeah, because you're not telling them buy Sanjeev's software and not Ramesh's software. You're not saying that. You're not saying that.
Understood.
Yeah. So here we are talking about where the market is is competitive, and we'll get to exactly that in the very next thing. So the issues with segmentation is: do you really want it? Is it really possible for you to read? Will people really buy it? And can I, with that, would I get anything more meaningful? Would the whole thing be profitable? Like the example I told you about mobile for women or laptops for women. I don't think anybody would bite into such a marketing idea. They'll say this is a gimmick which is not going to go anywhere. So why, though it might be a great idea, because women possibly are 50% of the buyers. So why don't you do something unique for them? On the contrary, you may want to come up, and I'm thinking more about it. The more I keep thinking about it, and eventually I'll have you guys also do the thinking, I may want to come up with earphones, which could be a product differentiation between the men and the women. The earphone not much visible will go along with your clothing or something like that. So this is what are the issues with segmentation. So the type of segmentation, the way you segment it, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, whatever they are. One is geographic segmentation, meaning that I am trying to address the people in Bangalore. That's the market that I'm totally focused on. This is MTR fast foods. We really don't want to get into all India market. We are going to stay in a specific geographic, which is Karnataka. We're going to address that market. We're going to be happy addressing that market, and we're doing good there. Do we have desires and aspiration to be a world player or a national player? Possibly, but let's go one at a time. We are right now focusing on this segment, which is the market. That is one way of looking at it. Geographic segment. The other is demographic segment, which is gender. We are looking, our products are purely for men. Our products are like the example of the motorbikes. I remember the time when I love this ad. Royal Enfield Bullet was almost dying in the early 90s and 2000 because of the onset of the Japanese, two-wheelers like Suzuki and Yamaha and Kawasaki and all that. So all of a sudden, everybody was trying to buy those bikes, and nobody was actually buying the Bullets and the what is that, ESDs and all that. I remember a very nice ad that came out, and that was very clear. It said, "Let the boys have their toys and men have their machines." So they're very clear that this is you. If you are a man, if you are a Mako guy, you don't drive the 100cc vehicles. You drive a 350cc motorbike. So that's a very clear demographic differentiation. So that is one way that look at it. You may look at it as age and sex. We are looking at there's so many products which if you're talking about all these parameters. So one, you have geographic separation. The other is demographic separation. The segmentation. The other is psychographic segmentation, meaning that I touch your emotions. I touch your emotions. If you look at the Amul Dhara ad, and there you go. If you look at the Amul Dhara ad, there was so much of it. There was so much of it. There was this young boy. There was this grandfather, whoever that guy was. There was this lots of jalebis. The whole thing hardly talked about the Dhara oil is good, the Dhara oil is safe, the Dhara oil is pure, it's less expensive. Nothing was talked about it. They just touched your emotions. They purely touched your emotions. The Asian Paints ad could have also touched your emotions, but at some point they did tell you that sirf dikta mehenga hai. But the Amul ad didn't say any of it. It just touched your emotions. It doesn't matter who you are. If it was a grandfather, he would still buy Dhara because the grandfather was brought into the picture. It was the father who said, "Ha, jana to hai 25 saal ke baad." So the father is also loving the product. The mom, of course, needless to say, is happy to see the boy back. And the child, of course, is a joy for everybody. So there you have a segment where it is emotional attributes that come in. Then you have aspirational attributes. Aspirational attributes are also probably what the Axe ad said that. The Axe ad said that the moment you have the spray, your aspiration to be most wanted, most loved, most liked, which means that you're normally a social pariah, all that anti qualities of yours turn into positive qualities. These are aspirational things. So there you have geographic separation, demographic separation, psychological separation, and then behavioral. Behavior is the most interesting part of it. So behavioral is, where do you buy? Why do you buy? How often do you buy? So now I know you're buying a product. Now the idea is to convert you to me buying a product that I am going to design exclusively for you. Meaning, that, okay, this is something that will go there. There's a slide out there. Meaning behavior. Now I'm moving from segmentation to targeting, and I want to make sure that you guys, these are sitting in the wrong place, and you guys take care of it. Okay, so behavior is that how frequently are you buying this? So you have the frequent flying program of airlines. What does the frequent flying program of airlines say? Is that if you're flying so very often, we'll give you points, and the points that you collect, you can use it to fly more individually or you with your family. So now what we are doing is, once we have segmented the market is a behavioral segmentation. We are now targeting that behavioral segmentation to further focus our attention on. So we know we want people who fly. They are the ones that we are focusing on. But now let's focus on those frequent flying guys so that we get them to fly my airline. I give them an Emirates card and whatever this is. And I know I possibly have quoted this before. The Up in the Sky ad movie. I don't know how many of you have seen that. Up in the Sky, right? What is it called? The George Clooney movie. Yeah, I don't know which is. 1 minute. Huh? I think this is. Yeah, hello. Yeah, just hold on, guys. I have Arvind calling me. Yes. Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll tell them. Okay. Yeah, sorry, guys. I just want to inform you that your afternoon class by Professor Muthu is now being rescheduled because of whatever reason. So you don't have an afternoon session, correct? You will get fresh dates for that class. Is that clear?
Yes, Professor. Thank you.
Okay, I can even put that on the, possibly somebody must have done it. But I'll put that all the same here. That was Arvind calling me. Your afternoon session is now scheduled. Okay. That gives us two options, that we can go on and on till 4:30, or we can wind up at 12:30. What do you prefer?
Wind up at 12:30, sir.
Okay, I thought you would want to say.
Sir, continue till 4:30, sir.
Can go a little bit longer, sir.
Yes, sir. 4:30.
Okay, guys who said a little bit longer, please share your roll numbers. You will be given additional marks. The one who said wind up at 12:30. Okay.
Sir, my name is Srirav. I need additional marks.
Everyone wants longer time.
Okay, now and you're free to give any name of your choice. So, sir, my name is this so and so, and I said let's wind up early. So you can do that. Okay, no problem. Let's get into the topic of discussion. Okay, so behavior leads to targeting. Are you following me till now? Behavior leads to targeting. So now I know you're the frequent flyer, and hence I'm going to give you something which is going to be even more interesting for you to stay with me. That is why I have this frequent flyer program. I have this frequent miles program, or I have this nice programs from Marriott, nice programs from the ITC group, which tells you that last time you visited us, you had a good stay. We continue to treat you well, and this time we offer you 5% discount because you stayed, and all that stuff, because you know that segment well and you want to target the cream of that segment. I don't know how many of you know this, because I do this part of the purchase, is that if you do monthly grocery purchase, Amazon or Big Basket is willing to give you further discount, saying that we know that you're special, so we'll give you more discount. There is a shop chain called Easy Shop. Easy Shop or something. It was earlier called Food World. Yeah, I don't know how many of you remember that name. Easy Store or something like that. If you walk into that store, you will find potatoes. Pardon?
Easy Day.
Easy Day. You walk into that store, it'll say potatoes at 10 rupees per kilo, and in the smallest possible font for members, and in another smaller font it will be 12 rupees for non-members. So you get so excited and you buy it for 10 rupees, and then when the billing happens it says it's 12 rupees, and you say, no sir, it's because if you're a member. And then what are they doing? They're targeting the behavioral aspects of yours because you keep buying them and we get them. So that's point number one. Well, I think we've overdriven that point. The other normally quoted rule is that 80-20 rule. It has got so many names. It is called the Pareto principles and all that. But in life, the 80-20 rule applies virtually everywhere, which means that 80% of the company's business comes from 20% of its customers, or 20% of its customers give them 80% of its profits, or 20% of your email is actually meaningful, or 20% of the professor's 3 hours conversation is only worth taking it, whatever that means. So you have the 80-20 rule, which is very commonly applied. And so this is also a rule which gets into targeting or your segment. You have the behavioral segment, which further gets into targeting. Let's take the example of a restaurant. Any restaurant has 3 kinds of people. Can you mute yourself, please? No. Okay, any restaurant has 3 kinds of people. We have the regular primary customers. There's a chat message coming up there. Same is followed by Shell. Oh, is it? Okay. Say Shell rewards you for visiting them. Okay, I didn't know that. Good. So any restaurant for that matter, they have primary customers, they have returning secondary customers, and they have non-regular customers. For example, the restaurants in my neighborhood expect me to be their primary, which means to say that every alternate day after a walk, I would walk into that place for a cup of coffee, or I might walk into an alternate place for a cup of coffee, though it might be a little far away. So these restaurants categorize me, segment me, target me. I mean, it's almost sounding like Nityananda with so many me's around. Okay, yeah. So you could have primary customers, and then you have secondary, and of course there are these non-regular customers. They come once in a while. They come and have it. So who would they want to focus on? Who would they want to focus on? Do they want to focus on the non-regular customer? Of course not. The non-regular customer is not going to come any more time later on. So they would not even bother about him. They may want to pay attention to the regular and the primary customer. And so there you go into forget targeting. Similar reason why food is really bad in bus stands, or food is really bad near railway stations and things like that. Why do you think the food is really bad there? Anyone?
Because they don't get regular customers.
Yeah, so last time you got down in a station in Kolhapur or in Raichur and had a dosa in that platform restaurant. Who cares whether the next time you're going to go there on what it is? So that's what the point is all about. Behavior leads to targeting, and targeting is all with an intention of getting you attracted to it. Okay, that done, we will move. What's the time? 10:55. Okay. Increase relevance. Okay. I'll leave that aside. Okay. Did I miss out a couple of slides? Yeah. Okay. Possibly. No. Okay. Okay. Good. So we finished. Segmentation. We finished targeting. And targeting challenges are, if you target too narrow, you may not get the required sales and profitability. If you divide it, make it too broad, then you may have to spend more on marketing expenses. Then the parameters that you need to consider is how big is the market? You read this for me. I'll not stick on there. And how competitive is it?
Ritvik here, I have one question on segmentation.
Yeah.
You said about, gave example on the restaurants that, they usually target on regular customers.
Yeah,
But,
no.
there is a concept
that is targeting, moving from segmentation to targeting. Yes.
Yeah, okay. And there is like McDonald's and Taco Bell, they have something, marketing strategy for, I believe it's a non-regular customers, to provide a feedback on the, once we buy the product, and then, you get a 30% discount for your next
Okay,
order.
Rutvik, I'm going to give you an assignment. Is that I'm going to explain what you just said under pricing. Okay. I know what you said. Let me understand what you said so that you know for sure that I have understood the question. He's saying that for the non-regular customers or for any customers, McDonald's or Mac asks for your feedback and possibly incentivizes you for coming back again. Correct?
Exactly.
So
what kind of strategy
point,
is that?
hang on exactly to that point, because of the fact that you used two words. You said incentivize and you said 30% off. Incentive and 30% off are two pricing things, and I have exactly you as an example, or what you said as an example for us to understand pricing. So let's not, because I that's a key to understanding pricing. We'll talk it there, and make sure that if the professor forgets, you remind him that this is what you said you will talk. Okay?
Sure.
Fine, fair enough. Okay, perfect. So that done, all good. This is for you to remember. Now you're done with segmentation. You're done with targeting. All done. Now what is positioning? Positioning is what I think of you. What I think of you. What is my thought about Rutvik? What do I think of Varun or anybody else? It's what's going on in my mind. It's what's good. What I think of this restaurant. What I think about, let's say, I have some, and all of us have some unique thing. I don't like to buy shirts from Being Human for whatever reason. I don't like to buy certain brand of products. Not that they are bad, not that they don't seem to address my requirement, but I have this unique thought in my mind which makes me not feel comfortable. And it's very hard. You might drill me down and say, what do you think about it? And I may not be able to explain to you, because that's how I position that particular product in my mind. My son broke his phone and he wants to buy another phone. And then I'm telling him that you should buy an MI phone. Now, he says, I don't buy Chinese phone. I want to buy a OnePlus. But I keep explaining to him that OnePlus is also a brother of Mr. MI. Both come from the same, I don't know. But he wouldn't. It's positioning of a thought process. Why am I repeatedly saying this? Is that I shake you up and wake you up from sleep. You are supposed to give me an answer. Product positioning refers to the place a product occupies in the customer's mind. It's nothing to do with your branding. It's nothing to do with your segmentation. It's nothing to do with your targeting. It's what I think of you. It's what I think of you. By understanding what the customer thinks of the company, of the product, the marketing guys can change the future position. Take this example of Tata Cars. And this is what I thought was the best example for you to understand positioning. When Tata came out with their first car, and remember, Tata cars are not very old. The first Tatas were very happy producing heavy duty trucks and whatever. Are we supposed to have a break technically? 9:30. I'll take a break after positioning. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because I just forgot that we should take a break. Okay. So let's get into positioning. We'll take a break. So what did Tata say? We knew Tata as a truck company. We knew Tata as a steel company. And so when Tata came up with consumer cars, Tata said our trucks are reliable and hence our cars are reliable too. Go ahead and buy it. Oh, said, wow, Tata finally enters the consumer car market, competing with who was there? Hyundai was there, Maruti was there, possibly. I don't think Mahindra had still entered. I said, brilliant, Tata is now going to be there. And what did they come up with? They came up with Indica, rustic taxi, and I'm not going to buy it. Simple as that. I'm not going to buy an Indica because the Indica is associated with a taxi. But did Tata segment it that way? Did Tata target the taxi guys? No, it's your positioning of what you think of Tata or what do you think of Indica for that. Unfortunately, they went the wrong way. That's hundreds of us thought like that. And to add further fuel to fire, Nano was a flop, and hence all Tata cars are a flop. Tata came up with Indigo, Tata came up with Safari, Tata came up with, that's it. No, it doesn't matter. Tata means Indica or whatever. It's my concept. I may be overstating it, but lectures are always meant to overstate to drive in a point. So then nobody was buying Tata cars. It was down, history down. Then something happened. Tata bought Jaguar, right? Tata bought Jaguar. And then we said, wow, Tata bought Jaguar. Maybe they might get better cars into the market. So after Tata bought Jaguar, you look at the journey that what Tata has to do. They came up with new models like Altroz, Tiago, Tigor, and I don't know how many more of them. And they knew you will not buy it. They knew you will not buy it, but they are doing this for you to start changing your idea of Tata. So, the cars look good, but still I'm not buying. Not bad, man. The Altroz seems to be good. The Altroz is advertised in the IPL. The Tigor is there in the Olympic Games. Oh, all looks very good. I'm not buying. Finally, when the Nexon came, I said, wow, that looks really good. Now Tata is doing something. Now people are willing to buy the Nexon. Now our idea of Tata is no longer that it's a truck company, no longer that it's a flopped Nano, but now we are now associating Tata cars with one of the possibly the first electric cars which have been successfully going all around the place. And the Nexon has been good. When my friend bought a Nexon, I told him, why would you ever buy a Tata product? And now I'm wrong. Now when they come up with the Harrier, which is there, we say that's good. I'm really willing to look at it. So long story on Tata, only to tell you is that you need to take a lot of effort to position yourself in the mind of the consumer. Is that a point well driven? Hopefully, yes, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, so this is positioning and this is perpetual maps, how you people think of you. These are cars on an international level. I'll not get there. Finally, I'm not going to leave you without work to do as we take a break. These are things for you to read. And this is what is a positioning statement. Let me take an example of a positioning statement. Let's take an example of DSU Executive MBA program. So what is your positioning statement? Why should you think of our program? For the target consumer is who? For working professionals who are busy all week and would want to upskill themselves, this executive MBA program is designed primarily for career enhancement. That key benefit that gives them access to the best of the reading material, and unlike others, it encourages what do you call a group building activity. And ours is the only program which uses which uses an exhaustive self-learning program or something like that. So that is what you design your positioning statement for any one of you. So if you guys have got this, I won't insist because it is you guys truly need a break. But if you are in game for it, yes, Rupesh, I truly agree with you on what you're saying. If you guys would want to do it, go ahead and attempt this Google form. The time is 11:07. Shall I make it 13 minutes? 11:20 we'll gather up. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I want to insist on this that you attempt the Google form here. It's individual, but it'll be nice for you to think of any company, think of any product, and try to create a position statement. The position statement meaning this one. Okay, good. I'm going to pause both the screen and audio and see you in 30 minutes. Okay, so this is Columbia Industries. It's a story, it's a long story of what all is happening. And then came all of this. But what is of interest?
So we see the Excel sheet. Sorry.
Huh?
We don't see your slides. We see the Excel sheet. Or I see the Excel.
Now, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is what your task is. As a group, you have joined Columbia Industries. You're working under so-and-so. So you have to prepare an analysis of the proposals that you have received. And so you don't know what to do. Is that exactly what you're saying, right?
Yeah, first, is it an individual or a group?
No, it's a group. It's a group.
Okay.
Point
So are we
number
to
one.
do this 2 tasks in 6 slides? Is that what?
Yeah. 3 slides on the task 1 and 3 slides on the task 2. Actually, I would say 6 slides of both the activities. Now, a lot of things will look strange for you because you even don't know what to do. That's because for the past 6 plus 7, for the past 8 hours, how much ever marketing we are talking about, it unfortunately seems to be dragged into B2C stories. It's always about consumer. We're talking about Amazon Prime. We're talking about selling Toyotas to politicians, and we're talking about selling laptops to children and all this stuff. But in real life, most of us are not going to be doing that. Most of us are going to be doing B2B business. Your consumer, your customer could be General Electric, your customer could be IBM, your customer could be, I mean, think of any other bigger name. It's all B2B. But the world of B2B is astonishingly very different from the world of B2C. But B2C is very easy to explain and compared to B2B. And you need to understand B2C to understand what is B2B. Just like I mean, I might go philosophical here, but I'll give you a thing, is that there are two distinctive Hinduism groups. One which believes that you and the God are the same, and hence that is called Advaita philosophy. There is no dualism. You and God are the same. But there's another group which says Dvaita philosophy. It says this is you, this is God, so you pray to that God. The Dvaita philosophy is easier to understand because you see yourself differently, you see the God differently, and makes it easier to look at it. So similarly, B2B stories are easier to explain. B2B stories are well understood if you have had B2C stories. So the end of today's class, possibly at the end of right now, at the end of this particular hour, we're going to stop talking about B2C. We're not going to bother about the customer being an individual, what the customer's flavor of toothpaste is, and why you should have clove in your toothpaste and things like that. All that crap we'll forget. Because 80% of us are going to be in the business of B2B. So this task telling you that this is a B2B opportunity. It's Columbia Industries wanting to do something. Columbia Industries is wanting to buy cranes or something. I don't remember this. Lift trucks, and they get quotations from 5 other guys. They have their own problem in life, and so how do you help the decision to happen? So answers for how to do it will be best explained to you in our next class where we get into B2B. So once I'm done with my class number 4, you will be well positioned to answer the assignment. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So don't take a shot at it if you know B2B. Take a shot at it if you know what is buying center. Take a shot at it if you know what are the 7 characteristics of a buyer. Take a shot at it if you want to analyze how does buying cycle happen. All you can take a shot at it, or wait for me to go through it, and then we can do it together. Okay, perfect.
Yes, sir. We'll wait for you.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, all good, all good.
Professor, quick question.
Yes.
So per subject, we usually have 1 group assignment and 1 individual assignment.
There was no individual.
Yes. So are we going to have 2 group exercises for marketing?
Yes, I prefer group exercises instead of individual exercises, primarily because I believe that you need to get others' viewpoints, and able to get 20 viewpoints into a 6-slide presentation. So I want activity involving each other's. You may have.
I just wanted to confirm. Thank you.
Yeah. And remember, there is no video for this presentation. You just give me 6 PPT slides. That's all.
Sure, sir.
Sir, the target submission for this assignment is end of this month.
End of this month, which is end of August. And
29th August.
And when is our next class? 9 plus 8.
22nd.
22nd, sir.
Yeah, so I think you have a week after this. No, that should be okay. That should be okay. Okay, I think it should be fine. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, good. Let's move. I mean, you're eating to prime time. Okay, so now let's move to screen share. Okay, thanks a lot for all your inputs on the positioning. It's here. Let's see one more time. But let's see what all of you have done. Good. Vikas has given an Amazon positioning statement. Tata Motors. Good. Done. So, aage badhe. Chalo. So, enough on segmentation, marketing, positioning. What do we do after that? Any suggestions?
Pricing, sir. Pricing
We'll do a new share. Pricing we'll do a little later. Pricing we'll do in class 5. Okay, so now this is what we'll do. We'll become astrologers. Good idea, right? Who likes astrology? Anybody practicing astrology? Anybody
Yes, sir.
knows astrology? Anybody out of the 84 of you?
Yes, sir.
So can you then take a shot at it? The past is an indication of the future. The future is based on my understanding. Astrologers in business, astrologers can go wrong. Sometimes act of God who predicted a pandemic. So sometimes things can definitely go wrong. Businesses die, products die, companies die, and it's obviously true, right? It happens all the time. So my job as the business head, my job as the head of the company, yourself, one of you, my job as a business head, my job as the business unit head, my job as the marketing head, my job as the finance head is what? Is to anticipate, visualize. Hey, mute. Vishweshwar Rao, mute. Visualize, predict, prepare. Isn't that my job? Otherwise, why am I the manager here? Why am I the business head? If I put everything to God and say, God willing, what can I do? It's my job to visualize how the world is going to be tomorrow. It's my job to visualize where the new business is coming to. Should I start a new television channel or should I start an OTT platform? Should I start producing more diesel cars or should I think that's probably exactly my next slide. Yeah. Should I start producing diesel cars or should I go with electric vehicles? You think electric vehicles would stay? What if there is a chance discovery of huge pockets of oil in our country? We think electric vehicles will actually work? I have this strange story of my friend who picked up a Tesla in the US and had to go and meet a friend and stay with him for a couple of days. And he drove his car all the way to stay with his friend and noticed that that apartment complex doesn't have a Tesla charging point. So he had to drive every day another 20, I don't know how many kilometers to charge his thing. It's obviously a great idea which didn't work on that particular circumstance. So should I set up new theaters or should I convert my theaters to something else? Because theater, nobody wants to go there. What is the new concept of holidays? Is it holiday in a crowded places or a holiday in a quieter place? I can't stand quiet places as holidays. I get tired of nature very quickly. I would rather holiday in a noisier city. But the new challenges of life, we are asked to socially distance ourselves. So these are trends. We don't know where we are heading. I created this idea, but maybe we are all used to BHK or 1 BHK, 2 BHK and all that. Maybe we need an OBHK, a small office and a bedroom, hall and kitchen. All of us may now get into a newer idea that one section of my house should become an office. So these are the trends. Do we really care for my phone number? You don't even know my phone number, but you know how to reach me and I know how to reach you. So these are all, I can go on with this list and justify it. But the point is, how do I make my company stay ahead of the market? How do I beat the competition? How do I ensure that the technology doesn't kill me? And incumbency best understood during elections. Karnataka mein BJP hara because of incumbency factor, meaning that people are tired of us. We may be doing the greatest of the jobs, but then incumbency is enough. I'm tired of it. Okay, how long do we want to have somebody? Incumbency factor is getting bored of the same thing, something, but not necessarily. That's a very diluted statement. Incumbency means much more than all of that. So look at these companies. Do you know all of them? Can you identify them? Unmute yourself, make it noisy. I have no problem.
First one is IBM.
Yes, yes, IBM, Casio.
Casio.
Right, we have chatted.
Yahoo.
Correct. So
Yahoo.
see, lots of companies fail because they refuse to look beyond. They refuse to look beyond. There was no reason why Sony should fail. And there's no reason why Sony should painfully come in a second avatar and try to be successful. So this is because great managers lead companies from one position of power to another position of power. Half of the world thought that post Steve Jobs, it's dead. But Tim Cook has done a great job. They said Satya Nadella seems to have done a better job than Ballmer, right? So it's the ability of an individual, and that individual is you, exactly you, each one of you, 85 people on this thing. 5 years from now, 3 years from now, or even right away at the end of your management course, you should be able to drive your company. It's time is money, and we've understood that very well. So you put your time. So how do you differentiate yourself? So that is what it's all about. So we are now getting into a core part of the discussion, and we are now slowly moving away from B2C. We will have a few residual B2C examples, but eventually get into a B2B thinking. So what is strategic marketing? What is strategic marketing? Strategic marketing is the analysis of opportunities. I remember this, analysis of opportunities, choosing what is your objective in your life, developing a strategy, formulating a marketing plan. It's all here. It's all, I'm reading it for you. And carrying out implementation and control. This is exactly what is strategic marketing. Marketing is, I walk into this and say, what is the opportunity that the marketing is providing for me today? Today, if I have to be an already existing player, how much ever I try, I can't get out from a Geo example. Today, if I'm the 7th mobile operator called Geo, I know the opportunity the market provides is because the market is moving from voice to data. So that is the opportunity, whereas all incumbent companies have designed their technology around voice and adding data as an overlay, because that is how they grew up. They grew up with 2G, they grew up with 3G, where voice was a predominant service. And today when I walk in, I look at the window very differently. How many of us remember our Geo numbers? I mean, I too have a Geo phone, but I don't remember my number. And who cares what that number is? You know how to reach me in 10 other ways. So the marketing opportunity. Does the marketing opportunity sync with the company's objective? Does the market opportunity sync with the company's opportunity? Exactly. But if it doesn't, why do we want to be in this business? Of course, there's a huge market for second-hand cars. But would that mean that Maruti should start selling second-hand cars or something like that? Yes, if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, why would you want to be in that business? Third, so we talk about market opportunities, we talk about companies' objectives. You know, we did objectives, mission, and vision statements. Is that objective of my life, the company's life? And do we have the marketing strengths? Does a petroleum company have a marketing strength to provide a reasonably ubiquitous service and reach to millions and millions of mobile companies? Because remember, Reliance was a B2B company. They were just doing petroleum products. And all of a sudden, they want to reach out to the lowest income individual. Do they have the marketing strengths to get there? Yeah, yes, no, maybe. Then what is a marketing plan? What do I do with this? How do I ensure that the story goes well? How do I ensure that the story goes well? How do I convey a message to the one? Because what is my primary objective? Remember, my primary objective is sales and profitability. There's no point in doing business if I don't get any one of them, right? Or if I at least get one of them, it's good enough. Then I got an opportunity. I understood my strength. I got my marketing plan. How do I implement it? It's good to be on paper. Okay, what works on paper needn't necessarily work in the field, right? You could be sitting in the ivory towers of Dhirubhai Ambani complex in air-conditioned rooms, but the reality is Airtel is giving you a killing. How do you do it? And it's not just implementation, control. What if you've done a brilliant campaign? It's not enough. What if Rahul Dravid or KL Rahul scores an 82 in the first innings? Does he? I don't even know what's the score. I hope the match starts later on. But can he continue to be a dominant player in the second innings? So control the market for you. So these are all what is strategic marketing. So if you've understood this part of the story as to why do we get into strategic marketing, where do I go, where is my next business, what do I do next? I am, there's so many of them. What makes Amazon get into Prime Video? What makes Amazon get into Alexa or audio systems is they believe they understand the market. They know how they can differentiate themselves. Finally, every company's marketing opportunity should have a differential advantage. You should clearly state, why am I different from anybody else? If Dayanand Sagar Executive MBA program is, probably there are half a dozen MBA programs, and why me? Maybe we have the greatest of the teaching faculty, or we provide you a kind of insight into the newest things that are happening, whatever. Is that you have to create a differential advantage. If you do not have a differential advantage, you will be another running player. Video or Vodafone is unable to create a differential opportunities in a market where it's being beaten black and blue. Airtel has managed to survive because they said, and that's another story for another day, but very briefly, as Airtel said, let's get rid of the low-paying customers. If my customer is billing me less than 500 rupees per month, I don't want it. Some arbitrary number like that. I don't want it. I will not fight with Jio for a customer whose monthly recharge is 500 bucks. The guy is doing 501 is a darling. I'm going to give him all kinds of things. Like what? I'm going to give him Airtel thanks. I'm going to give him all video advantage. I'm going to throw in 101 things for him. So you have a differential advantage. If you do not have a differential advantage, where do you survive? Like I kept saying all the time, when saying Amazon, in my opinion, and again, I keep saying that in my opinion, Amazon does a brilliant job in cities. Within 24 hours, 9 times out of 10, they deliver ahead of schedule. Flipkart does a brilliant job in secondary towns, I assume again. So they believe that their differential advantage is that we do well in Bangalore, we do well in Hassan, Mangalore, Chikmagalur, Jodhpur, whatever stuff is. But what is the third guy sitting there doing? What is his differential advantage? Who is the third guy? Is it Paytm? Is it Snapdeal? Or is it Tata Click, which might want to come back? Unless and until that differential advantage is demonstrated, how would I really want to get into it? So that is strategic marketing. That is career company marketing opportunity development. And finally, every company has to grow. No company say, oh man, I did 100 crores this year. We have 10% profitability. Our bottom line is looking good. Let's sit out and chill. It doesn't work like that. Every one of the company has to grow. And when we have a subject called, what is it called? It's not marketing, it's war or something like that. I have a title for that. Actually it's war. In the market, it's all about, it's war. There's a book called The Art of War by Sun Tzu or something like that. It says every act of war can be converted into a market activity. So we'll not get that today, we'll get here. So every company has to grow. How can a company grow? It can grow by market penetration. So there are three ways in which the company can grow. It can grow by intensive marketing or intensive strategy, by integrative strategy, or by diversification strategy. So I hope you're all paying attention, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, perfect. So what is intensive market penetration? That is, there is a market. There is a market existing. And I'm going to enter that. There is this market. There are three players in this market. I am the fourth player. So I penetrate an existing market. I am the MI of the world. But I see an MI in front of me. So I'm the MI. Not that there were no phones before us, not that there is competition, but I'm going to penetrate that market. I'm going to get into that market and make a mark for myself. That is the only way that I can grow into an existing market. The second is I will develop that market, which means to say that I will ensure that this market that I have entered, I will grow that market further. Further, having gone into that market, having entered into that market, I will develop products around that market, meaning that if I make phones, I'll make headphones. If I make phones, I'll make battery packs. If I make phones, I will make cables or whatever that thing is. So the three ways in which you do intensive marketing: market penetration, to get into a market, market development, and product development. Is that clear on intensive marketing?
It's pretty much getting into the red ocean. That's what you are saying. Right?
No. It's red ocean is no. Red ocean is where you will bleed. It's not red ocean per se. Red ocean is a market where not much is happening there.
Okay.
Yeah. Red ocean is the new salt company, Tata Namak. You think overnight people are buying salt? I mean, in reality, there are less people buying salt, right? Our salt consumption has to reduce. And still you want to get into, that's red ocean. No, this is market. We are not getting into those. This is market with a new market. This could be market for medical insurance, or market for anything. It's a growth market. You could be the second player in the blue ocean market. You could be the what is it called? The Google Hub. What is the equivalent to Alexa? The Google Nest or something it's called. I don't know.
Google Assistant.
Google, no, the physical device,
Google Hub.
Google Hub. So
Google Nest.
You know what it is. Who is there? Till yesterday, there was only Alexa with 100% market share. No, it was Alexa with a reasonable amount of market share. They were not taking the entire market share. They were addressing a reasonable market. By you entering it, you will take some part of the market. So no, don't get confused with red ocean. Okay.
Got it, sir.
Okay. Good.
So I think Patanjali also was trying out.
Exactly. Patanjali, what does he do? Patanjali is a good example. Gets into a market penetration of P&G and Colgate and all that, and then he shakes up the world. But is he able to sustain? Is he able to sustain? That's what it is. Do you see market opportunity very well understood? All people doing yoga will buy Patanjali products. हमारा कंपनी का क्या है, जो भी हिंदी संस्कृत बोलते हैं उनको बेचो. हमारा strength क्या है, Baba? I'm sounding very different, but I'm trying to
make in India.
Simplified. Baba बेचेगा हमारे लिए. So what is the marketing plan? Get all of them to who are doing yoga. Fair enough. All analysis is perfect. There is a market for Indianized products. There's the company's objective is good. Our market strength is good. Our market plan is good. Market implementation is also good. Virtually, my wife would not allow me to come home till I got that Dant Rakshak and then whatever, half a dozen other products.
Kanti.
Absolutely. But eventually, she's no longer asking me to buy it. We've forgotten. I don't know how many of our homes still take some of the Patanjali products. Because
don't say it too loud, Professor. She may just ask you to buy it now.
What is that?
I said, don't say it too loud. She may just hear you and ask you to buy it.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like delete. Okay. So finally, market control. Are you still in control of the market? I don't believe Patanjali is still in control of the market, right? So I just lost power. I just want to make sure there's enough power on my. Give me 1 second to feel a little comfortable about it. Yeah, I think there's enough power. Okay. What is the time? 11:50. Okay. Good. I'm running now on the battery. Okay. Next. So that is market intensive. Next is integrative. What is integrative? Means that you go up the chain, you go down the chain. What does that mean? Integrative is if you are an automotive manufacturing company, you may do a backward integration. You may buy into a steel making machine. Meaning that in the entire process of the chain.
Professor, sorry to stop you. I just have a question. Isn't integrity a individual factor, or it applicable to the entities also?
Where here in this? No. We are talking about companies here.
Companies integrity.
No. There is no integrative.
Sorry, I took it wrong. Sorry.
Integrative. How meaning you understood intensive, right? How do I carpet bomb a market to get my stake? Integrative is what is it that I can integrate into my system? I am a let's say, okay, brilliant example. I am a petroleum company, Reliance. What do? I buy crude oil and I convert it into fuel, diesel or petrol, I assume so. And I sell it to the marketing companies like Indian Oil and Bharat Petroleum and blah, blah, blah. Perfect. Happy. Very good. I'm very well doing. But what do I do to further my business? Go buy oil fields. That's it. You go and buy oil fields. You were buying crude oil, now buy the oil fields. So you not only, you thus do a backward integration. You buy an oil fields and hence you can be more profitable because one particular segment or the profitability still stays with you. Sanjeev, you raised your hand.
There was an example where I read about Flipkart manufacturing the cardboards required to courier their parcels. Is that an example of a backward integration?
That's a brilliant example of backward integration, because now what happens if your cardboard manufacturer is not able to deliver in time, and for all the thing brilliantly done, you seem to be let down by a supplier, and the supplier is unnecessarily adding on to cost, and hence you're not able to differentiate yourself, and hence you're not having an edge over the competitor. Let's go buy him. And then I start doing it. It happens all the time. So that's backward integration. So now Reliance said that let me buy a few oil fields in whichever part of the world. And now I'm buying my own crude oil and then I'm converting it. And then I'm supplying it to Bharat Petroleum, Shell, and all of these guys. And what the hell, yeah? They seem to be doing nothing, setting up a few fueling guys, and they're making a killing of money. And everybody calls it Bharat ka gas, Bharat Petroleum gas, when it's actually Reliance gas. Let me do forward integration. Let me also set up my own gas stations. So there you see, you're doing backward integration, you're also doing forward integration, because you now find that part of the business also lucrative, and why would you not want to be? That is exactly how it works. So you do a forward integration. You're not happy with that, you've done backward, you've done forward, now you do horizontal. Let's buy a couple of companies like Reliance Petroleum. Maybe I'll buy SR Oil. And so you have three options: backward, down the supply chain, forward, along the delivery chain, horizontal, buy into my company. So this is how companies grow. Then you have diversification. Diversification means that—
I have a question here.
Yeah.
So, like Amazon and Flipkart, both have started their own products, whether it can be electronic goods or fashion apparels or any other products. Even I would say some of the groceries and all that. So is that a forward integration?
Okay, let me understand your questions too. You're saying that Amazon has what is called Amazon Basics, which is the brand which they are selling.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
That again, you might say that a professor is pushing everything to another part of the discussion. But the point is, it could also mean to a certain extent backward integration, because of the fact that you're also going to manufacture those products yourself, and hence you have a better say. But it also means something else, is that Amazon has a brand. The brand value it wants to tap on. For example, I don't know if you guys know, MI products include pressure cookers, electric cookers, then all kinds of stuff, right? They have nothing to do with mobile phones, but they have, I'm sure you guys know it, right? They are into lots of other kinds of things.
Even they have furnitures also.
Yeah, why? It's not backward forward integration. That is because they are riding on a brand called MI. The very brand MI means a lot. The very brand MI means a lot. So that is something that we will talk when it comes to branding as a strategy. But to a certain extent, you're right. Amazon making their own T-shirts or more selling their own tissue boxes is in a certain way a backward integration to an extent. But
would it not be would it not be diversification, because you're sort of adding more products under your tree?
That is product development here. You develop around the product. But diversification is the word that you just mentioned. So you have three types of diversification.
So one more thing, just one more example for horizontal on the integrative. Just want to understand.
Well, you want one more example for horizontal?
Yeah.
One more example for horizontal is very simple.
Flipkart took over Myntra.
Flipkart took over Myntra, or Ola took over Taxi for Sure. What is that? One name, Pharma Easy took over its competitor. It's just that You swallow your competitor, that's horizontal
Yeah,
integration.
but it's like, as you said, example for forward, when you take over the oil fields, it's something similar to that, right?
No, this is getting into your core business. It's MRF tires buying Seat tires.
The most recent example is Byju's.
Hang on. MRF tires buying Seat tires is horizontal integration. MRF tires buying rubber plantations in Kerala is backward integration. MRF tires setting up their own distribution network is called forward integration. Right?
Got it, sir.
Okay, good. So now let's get into diversification. Diversification is getting into a totally another line of business that you never thought of doing. You're busy doing something else, and then all of a sudden you do something else. ITC all the time was busy making people die of cancer, and now they say let's get into hotels. The reasoning may not be as simple as I'm trying to tell you, but what did ITC know about running hotels? And why would they want to run hotels? Because they say we see a new opportunity in a totally different market. So they go into diversification, they go and start making into hotel business. So diversification has three factors. Diversification has three factors, which are concentric, horizontal, and conglomerate. Concentric is that you have new technology which appeal to a new set of customers. Horizontal is new products for the existing customers. And conglomerate is a new products for a totally different class of customers. It doesn't sound as complicated as you think it does here. It means to say that what you're doing right now, let's say, let me try to give a good example so that you guys will be able to appreciate the point that I'm doing. New products which have marketing synergy with the same existing products and appeal to a new customers is exactly what Tata tried to do with their automotive division. Who were their customers till yesterday? They were the transportation companies, they were the truckers, they were all that. So they used the same technology or the existing product line to deliver it to a totally new set of customers, which is the consumer car market. That is what it is. Okay. The second thing is new products for the existing customers. So if I have, if I am supplying laptops, I might also want to supply Wi-Fi modems because it is a new product for existingly same customers, but the entire technology is different. And conglomerate is when you come up with something totally different, like coming up with hotels by ITC. So I guess that to a certain extent explains this. I don't want to spend too much of time on this because strategic marketing per se is a subject of your one whole syllabus. So I just want to make a fleeting comment on this. We could go on to this, but I have something else to complete. What is the time now? 12:03. But I can probably take a couple of questions to make sure that we don't leave it halfway. But if you guys are good, remember strategic marketing is somebody out there is a specialist at DSU taking this.
Sir Vimal, I just want to know, sir, is diversification always there when somebody finds a new opportunity, or it can be a reason that he sees his present business not shaping well?
Absolutely. You answered it. Why would the three reasons why you would diversify? One is maybe the market is dead, the market is dying. And that's, thank you very much, Vimal, because that is going to be the link to my next topic of discussion. So people diversify for the following reason. One, the market is dying. Two, the market is no longer attractive for them. Remember, the market is still attractive. The market is dying. Example, ITC cigarette products are dying. There are less and less people, hopefully, smoking. So the market is dying. So we have to do something. Otherwise, we'll be non-existing. We'll be out of business. So we have to diversify. Market is being taken over by somebody else. Somebody has come and taken away my whole market. Micromax is dead and gone. So what would he do? Would he still want to sell to a 1% market, or does he go and do something else? Obviously, he has to do something else because he cannot compete in that market. That is the third reason. Second reason. The third reason is his understanding of a new market that nobody knows about that understanding. And this is the most important point of the conversation. Remember the following words. Disruption happens always from the outside, meaning that existing players do not do anything to improve the market. If you must have an outsider enter the market to shake the market. If you leave the car companies to be on their own, they will continue to flog the diesel and petroleum cars till the last dollar that they can extract out of it. It needs an outsider who understands nothing about this market to come in and shake the market. And that outsider is Tesla. What background did Tesla have to come into the automotive sector? Was Elon Musk working for Ford or General Motors for 20 years to come and start a company? No. He gets into, and it's pure diversification from space to car. What would you have? It is these guys who disrupt the market. Why is it in my example that Future Group did not survive well? Is because they took it for granted that you will always buy for the rest of your life at Big Bazaar. And even when Flipkart started, wo kitna din chalega, hum jayenge. It's the outsider who knew nothing. The Bansal brothers, what did they know about supply chain management? Did they know how to supply tons and tons of rice to different parts of the country? No. But it's the outsider who disrupts the market. So that is what diversification is. Very, very good. A non-player enters a market and shakes up the market, right? Okay, good. So this is the same things. I have to get into this subject at 12:07. Okay. Obviously, I had a Google form, and you know what the answer is. I'm not going to give you to do it. We are running out of time. But most importantly, having understood strategic marketing, let's take a 1-minute water break and then say, come on, guys, enough is enough. Let's get into understanding our own company better. The most important thing in your company is to know how my company is doing well. How is my company doing? Is it doing well? Is it doing bad? Who tells you this? There were lots of ways in doing it. One company which came up and said, this is the way to do it, is the Boston Consulting Group. And they came up with a matrix called the BCG matrix. And now we're going to talk about BCG matrix and GE matrix. That is exactly why I thanked you for looking at it. Okay. We are going to talk about 3 terms, and I want you to understand these terms very, very clearly. What is market share? Market share is the percentage of the total market that you are controlling. That means to say, the market share of our executive program. Why do I don't know, for some strange, I keep getting into that mode today. The market share of the MBA program by Dayan and Sagar could be 20%. Yes. So the end of all the guys doing their management, the 20% of them are doing their MBA program at Dayan. So that's 20% market share. But enough of that word market share. We're talking about relative market share, meaning that the number of people who joined our program this year compared to the total number of programs, people who joined the entire program. How is my market share compared to that? If your company is doing something very, very well, if your company is doing very, very well, then the relative market share is going to be much, much higher, because it shows that, for example, 3 out of every 100 are using a call taxi, meaning they're using Ola or Uber for going from location A to location B. So what's the market share of the call share taxi? 3%. Because the remaining 97 of them are either going by bus or going by their own vehicle. But what is the relative market share of Uber? Uber could have 60% market share of that 30%, that 3%. So I hope you're getting the two relative terms. So that is point number one, market share, relative market share. Next is market growth. How did your market grow last year? In last year, my market, what business am I in? I am in the business of selling cars, let's say. So the entire industry grew by 8%. That means that last year, 100 cars were sold in India. This year, 108 cars were sold in India. So there's been an 8% market growth. Very well, good. But what is the relative market growth? What is the relative market growth? Meaning, how did you perform? While the market grew at 8%, I grew at 20%. That means that I sold more cars in comparison to my competition. Despite an 8% market growth, I did 20%. Brilliant. You need to be awarded. You need to be congratulated. But you go and tell your boss, it's been a bad year. The pandemic has really hit the market. The market only grew at 8% and we grew at 3%. Then you are growing below even the average growth of the market. There's something wrong with you. Why are they not buying your product? At least 8% should have been your growth going with the market. That is why when they talk about mutual funds, they say that, sir, look at the Sensex and look at our fund. Our fund has always overperformed the market, which means to say, when the market fell, we didn't fall that badly. When the market grew, we grew better than the market. So I want you to understand these 4 terms: market share, relative market share, market growth, and relative market growth. If any questions on this, because this is a basic to our subject here, and I don't want you to start off with not understanding it. Anybody has a doubt, do not hesitate. You can even go.
Sir, it's relative in the sense, we are comparing individual company performance, right?
The company's performance with reference to the sector.
Yes.
Yeah, that means to say that, yeah, exactly. That means to say that they were more percentage of my product which got sold compared to the total percentage of the growth of the product. But this is very deceptive in a way. I'll tell you why it's very deceptive in a way. Is that you saying that the Indian economy is growing at the rate of 7%. Brilliant. Shabash. Modi ji Zindabad. 7% is the market, is the Indian growth rate. Economy is growing at 7%. Poor Americans, their market is only growing at 2%. But that's deceptive. In certain ways, it's deceptive. I'm answering beyond the conversation here. Is because at 1 million, we are growing at 8%, is different from 100 million and growing at 2%. You understand? It's impossible for an economy like America to grow at 8% because that'll be like beating even the speed of light. But don't get carried away by the fact that Bajaj electric scooters or Ather is growing at 30%, because their sales itself is very small. They only sold 100 and last year, and today they sold 130. So they got 30% market share. But Honda sold 10,000 and they grew at 2%, which is still 200. So I hope you guys get the slight catch to that way of comparison. Though it's an unnecessary conversation, but that's how I guess marketing classes are. Yeah, somebody raised his hand. No problem. Okay, so if you've understood these 4 terms very well, let's talk about putting your company into different categories. Your company is manufacturing 10 products. Your company is providing 6 services. Your company is providing 6 different types of products. How do you categorize these? The Boston Consulting Group came back and said, guys, we categorize them as stars, question marks, cash cows, and dogs. What does that mean? They say that this is what they are. Pay attention to this. There are stars, there are cash cows, there are dogs, and there are question marks. If that's not enough, there is something called market growth rate. I told you what is market growth rate. And relative market share. Relative market share. What is relative market share? Example of it. Okay, I'll give you one example. Well, possibly a good example too. Market growth rate is very low. Newspapers. Are more and more people buying newspapers nowadays? No, the market is not growing. The market is more or less going very, very, very slow. Maybe a 1% growth or 2% growth in the number of people. And people like me will go and tell every class and every student that read Economic Times, buy Economic Times. Economic Times is good for you. I may get some commission by the newspaper agency because of that thing. So the point is the market growth rate is very slow. There's nothing happening in that market. But the relative market share is very, very high of Times of India and Economic Times. So what is happening now? Though the market is not growing, they have a huge capture of that market. 80% of India is reading Times of India and Economic Times. The other 20% are reading all other newspapers. But is there anything happening in that market? Is there innovation coming up in that market? Is there new colors of paper being printed? Is there new ways in which newspaper is distributed? Let's not get into the to the fact that they may be available online. We'll not get into that part of the discussion. So that is a market where Times of India is sitting solid, sitting pretty, sitting safe. it is high market share and low market growth. You think anybody is interested in producing and printing out, coming up with a new newspaper? Do you think Reliance wants to come and say, let me print a new newspaper because I realize that Times of India has a relatively high market share? No, nothing is happening in this industry, and you're sitting prettier. So you enjoy what is called a cash cow status in the company, in the sector. This guy is a cash cow. He produces lots and lots of cash. You start milking the cow, lots of money you get. Nice, good. It doesn't take much attention. And give him some grass to eat and it'll do pretty well. So that is, every company wants to have a cash cow. Every company which has a cash cow can then aspire to do other things in life. So that is what is called a cash cow. Now there is another market which is called, let's get into, where do you want to get into? Do I want to get into dogs? Yeah, Sharath? Or is that an old hand? No problem. Okay. If you guys, you can just probably unraise your hand so that I don't get diverted. Okay, so that is cash cows. Now let's probably talk about dogs. What are dogs? Dogs are, you have a relatively low market share. And the market is also not growing well. Nothing happening on that market, and you have a 10% of that market. Example of that would be, I can't think of, there are quite a few. I'll get examples, don't worry, over a period of time. There's not much happening in that industry. There's not much happening on that, and you're just sticking on there. This normally happens when you come up with a product and the product has lost the charm, like typewriters, for example, or other. I have quite a few examples on it. I can't recall them now. But, yes. Who's this? Okay. So dogs are those which have the market is not growing and your share is also pretty low. You don't know what to do with it. It's just continuing with your company. For example,
can Nokia be an example?
Nokia, Nokia could be an example. You don't know what to do with your phone division. The market also is not growing. Or for example, I don't know if it makes sense, but I thought it made sense. For example, PeopleSoft. I assume that it's not really picking up, but you may have some dedicated customers whom you may have to compulsorily service because you have some relationship with them. So those are dogs. The third is stars. Stars, as you can see, are the ones which are doing superbly well. Market growth is high. Boom. Everybody is moving into this. Everybody is moving into this. Market, new guys are going into this. And what's your market share in that? Superb market share. You are the leader of an industry that is even just beginning to sunrise. These are all sunset industries. Okay, this could be feature phones. They no longer are there. These are 2G services. They're no longer there. These are SMS services or SMS services company. You don't know what to do with them. They're still existing alone. Or you have postal services. What do you do with postal services? Nobody's using it. In the entire market, how many people are actually sending physical objects from location A to location B? Reducing, because most documents are now e-documented. So the market of physical things are not growing. And even if they are growing, people would like to send it through DHL for Blue Dart or FedEx, why would they want to send it through India Post? So you're stuck with this product. Why are you stuck with this product? You don't know what to do with it because you don't know, you have a commitment to the government or your commitment to your employees. It's not making money. You can't even kill it. Lots of such examples every company faces. But Star is a company where the market growth rate is superb. Everybody is moving into that. OTT market. Everybody now, I guess I will be a social pariah if they say that, hey, Ramesh, you don't watch Netflix? What is Netflix? You must be, I don't know. That's really the talk of the town. Because everybody wants to move to OTT and Netflix is a leader. Everybody wants to use UPI and I don't know, different versions. Paytm is the king. And what is happening year on year, market is growing very, very high and you're the star of the market. I almost wanted to give the example of Gmail here, but Gmail, we are not very sure, right? The Gmail is not growing very high. The Gmail is not growing. I think more or eventually emailing as a technology may actually die down. In our company, making serious effort not to use internal communication through email and use Slack. But it could be, Gmail could be sitting here, market growth rate less, but market share is very, very high. So Star is when the best of the world is happening. Make the best out of it. Make the best out of it. The second, now the last one is question mark. Question mark is you don't know what to do with it. You come up with a product, you don't know. Right now, the market is growing very well, but your market share is very low. Meaning that you could be Tata Click in the world of Amazon and Flipkart. You don't want to kill it. You're not happy by the way what is happening. You can do something to it if a smart guy takes over. That's what Tata is hoping, that by smart digital guys taking over, they can move this question mark to a star. So we now talked about there's been a lot of talking today. We're talking about 4 different positions of a company and its products.
So can you give a couple of examples for question mark?
Question mark is, of course, quite a few examples I can give you for question marks is, and I said that and I'm thinking to see how strange it is. Okay, the question marks could be.
Snapdeal also.
Which one?
Snapdeal also. Snapdeal.
Snapdeal, yes. Yeah, somebody can come and revive Snapdeal and make it really big, because the Snapdeal is possibly a best example. Everybody else is doing so well and you're doing so bad.
Big Bazaar.
Big Bazaar.
There are a lot of competitions are arise now.
Everybody is doing well and you're doing bad. That is what it is. Everybody doing well. Dio, do you know what is a Dio, which is supposed to be the equivalent of WhatsApp from thing, or Skype for that matter? Every other conference company is doing well, but you are not doing well. What do you want to do with it? Do you want to kill it? Or do you want to really wait for something to happen? There could be one major crash of Zoom and people might switch over to you, or you might get somebody to revive it. You remember, question mark is where you're really in confusion. You've done a lot of investment. You've really put in a lot of time and effort into this. You have put a lot of cash cow money into question mark. Example is probably
Telegram.
Which one?
Telegram.
Telegram, yeah, maybe, or most importantly,
Vodafone also we can consider, because they have invested more in India.
Which one?
Vodafone.
Yeah. So now what do we do with Vodafone? Bola abhi kya karna hai? Or how do we, so that is the point. So these are question marks. There are quite a few examples that we have. So I hope you guys have understood this part of it very clearly. Same. Oh, I think there are quite a few messages I have not seen. Mintra may not be. Actually, I believe Mintra is a star. Mintra is a star. Who is this? Hello? Illa, you know. Just give me 1 minute. Just give me Dira. And I'll bunny. Second ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Yeah, sorry. Hotstar, Amazon against. Oh, no. The best example is Disney. Why are we forgetting it? Disney. Disney was once a leader. Disney was once a leader. So they are now stuck. So they are trying to buy into Hotstar to get in there. So now Disney is hoping that by buying it to Hotstar, they'll get into primary market. But enough of this. So I hope you guys have understood that. But the point is not that. The point that you should realize is that I left all of this for you to read. I left their examples for you. This is something, but even this, I'll leave it to you to read. But this is what I may want to concentrate on. You don't do something well, you could end up into be a disaster. Meaning, you do a good job, your question mark can become a star can become a cash cow. Each of them have their own ways of defining it. And then sometimes if you don't do a job badly, you could even have an early death. Don't take it for granted. Don't take your product for granted. You've seen that happen all the time. Boom, you could just get out and die. So this is one way. I have to complete a certain section. So what is the time? 12:31. I promise not to go beyond 12:40. And then we will revisit it one more time. So Boston Consulting Group said that every product in a company, every subdivision of a company, every product line, every service line can be put in these 4 categories. But then, is that the only way to look at the world? Somebody said, no, we'll look at it differently. Let's come and look at it from the view of another company, which is General Electric, McKinsey matrix. So General McKinsey matrix said, let's divide all your products into 9 blocks. Very simple, 9 blocks. What are those blocks? Where are they defined here, I think? Here. Yeah. So let's define those 9 blocks into the same thing. It's the same old thing, but you put it differently. How attractive is the industry? Is the industry really attractive? Do you think there's something happening in that industry? Do you think the industry attractiveness is high? Or let's say the industry attractiveness is low. How good is your business unit in that industry? Oh, I am very strong in that industry. Not many people are buying milk, but I am Nandini. I hold 80% of the market share. Brilliant. Hang on to it. The industry is not growing very well. I am in the business of supplying, maybe type C cables or whatever. I'm in the industry where the industry is not doing very well. My market share in the industry is low, harvested. What does that mean? I'll tell you later. The industry attractiveness is high. My market share is high. Grow that industry. So instead of calling it dogs, cats, and monkeys, they said, let's call them as growth, hold, and harvest. Meaning that if the industry is growing and you are doing well, grow the market, invest into that market, invest into the company, plow in more money into that company, make it really strong. But if the industry is not doing so well, you are also stuck there. Never know what will happen. Tomorrow, the industry may turn around. So continue to hold that market, continue to hold that company, continue to hold that subdivision, hold on to it for some time. But if the industry is not doing very well and you have a weak one, harvesting means what? Cutting the crop and earning money out of it. So they say that just get rid of that company, just walk out of that, sell that unit, whatever losses or profits, you just do it. So I'm going to leave you with this. We'll once again revisit the last few slides of this topic in our next class. And when we get into the next class, we will switch into a B2B mode. So you have another few minutes to ask some questions, general, generic, assignment, whatever, and then we can call it a day. Any questions?
Citibank moving out of India. Where do you put that in the 9?
I would put that as a very disappointed customer like myself. It will be a Citibank customer. But what happens is, I really don't know the background to it, but what normally happens is some sectors are called nerve centers. Some sectors are called, that means the government can play around with these sectors to just for political gains and political motives. So I believe that Citibank was not allowed to expand in a force that they may want to expand. And hence Citibank was stuck with it. A comparative example would be, I don't know if you know a bank called DBS.
Yes, so there are channel partners. I work for it, so there are channel partners.
DBS is doing brilliant, right? DBS has been asked to take over Lakshmi Vilas Bank.
Yeah.
So look at the government's attitude also towards a similar, it's a Singaporean-based bank, and they were a quiet bank. They got very active on the what is it called, the e-banking mode, and now they were handed over a physical bank to do well. So I believe the Citibank story, the MasterCard story. I don't know if you're also following the MasterCard story.
Yeah, so we're following that.
Yeah, so these are all, I guess, you need to read between the lines to understand them better.
Oh, sure.
My opinion. I'm a Citibank customer since '98 or so. So
because why I asked Citibank particularly because they are located from 13 countries. So I would say it's not specific to some government, probably in one country, but I think then probably they would have taken a call to move out of this 13 countries across.
I'm sorry, in which case I am I'm not fully equipped. You mean to say Citibank is closing down their...
For the report, Citibank is moving out of 13 business units across, which is 13 countries they are moving out.
Okay, I believe Citibank, in which case, is moving out of consumer banking division.
Yeah, that's right. Consumer banking.
Banking division is not very attractive now.
Yeah, okay, this is Subi Sign. I just want to tell that Citibank, the saving charges is more. So people generally not choose to that. I was a Citibank salary employee, the zero cost. When I quit that job and change, then they told that saving account 2 lakh. I told close my account.
Absolutely, you're perfectly right. I agree with you. They told me that you must maintain a minimum balance of, as you said. I said, no way. You want to keep me, keep me. Then they were doing us a favor. Yeah. So now when you have zero banking balance, and then how many of us we're not even using credit cards, right? I believe so. We are not even using. We are doing left, right, and center UPI payments. And so,
Yes.
so and Citibank housing loan, kaun le raha hai, housing bank. So I think yeah.
It is very expensive actually. I work for Citibank client for 5 years.
So,
From SCL, I am working for Citibank client for 5 years. Even
It
if
is not
I
just Citibank, even HSBC also shut down their
same story.
consumer operations
yeah.
around US and all
You're
that. They are
perfectly
more
right.
moving to commercial banking.
No, the answer would be in agreement with what Swain is saying, is niche banking is no longer a predominant requirement. I do not believe in relationship managers. Every time I get a person saying, sir, I'm your relationship manager. Kya relationship? I'm happy managing my own bank and I know it. So no longer is that exclusivity for a consumer on a bank being a differentiation. That's what I think. Good.
Also that bank, if you go, that you feels a very good bank actually. They treated very nicely, and their infrastructure is good. But somehow they're charging more, so that's why people are not going draft all that. So that's why they are not able to succeed earning money from the customer. Then maybe there's the chances to close it.
Yeah. My son had to open a bank account when he just joined a company about 3-4 years back, and I told him open his SBI account. I didn't want him to open because I guess that was a more prudent decision, I thought. So we no longer want to recommend him to banks like Citibank or HSBC, because no longer there's any uniqueness of differentiating. Again, it all comes down to what is your differentiator. If your differentiator is worth it, am I willing to pay more money for a service which is not a differentiator? That is the point. Right, guys. So all the best. I hope you guys have been enjoying my classes, and let's get back to class 2 weeks from now. Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually,
Great.
to be very honest, sir,
Yes,
Professor, that comparatively with all the subjects what we have, your class is one of the very interesting and interactive sessions.
Oh, thank you very much. But
I agree, sir. I agree totally.
they're brilliant professors to follow me. Just watch out. Okay. Yeah.
No, with your style of teaching and with the topics and with the subject, I just felt it, and it's a honest feedback.
Thank you, Vinay. I mean, obviously, I must be a Mahatma or a sadhu if I would say I didn't like it. Lovely. It makes my day. Thank you, Vinay. I truly appreciate you saying this. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Good that you are all enjoying it. And I'm enjoying talking to probably a very good set of students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Professor.
sir. Bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Professor.
Thank you, Professor.